Will remote work solve inequality? Recent news point in that direction. Let's talk about it over a cup of coffee. This is Virtual Coffee Chat with Lewis for Think Remote. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my coffee chat in this lovely Tuesday. So, the exodus from the big cities continues as Americans flock to rural states, and the Irish government just announced their new remote-centric initiative, Our Rural Future. So I talked yesterday about how Costa Rica is trying to become more appealing to digital nomads, and Bali's economy has thrived like that for years now. So yesterday, the Irish government unveiled their Our Rural Future initiative. This includes converting Bank of Ireland branches and other vacant buildings in town centers into new rural remote working hubs, and offering monetary incentives to drive relocation to rural areas and enhanced home working. So in the meantime, real estates across America report that the considerable amount of people are looking to relocate to states with better quality of life and lower taxes. This obviously, the law of supply and demand kicks in and the price of home ownership goes up and those states become richer, right? Now, in order to understand why this means the end of inequality, or at least a massive blow to inequality, we need to consider the historical situation. So for many decades, there was an exodus to cities. This is obvious because cities, big cities, was where the jobs were, right? And especially the highest paying jobs, because corporations made their headquarters, their whole industries boomed around the big cities. Or maybe it's more accurate to say the cities boomed around the industries. In any case, if you wanted a good job, you had to move to one. This went on for many decades in most countries across the world. Now, because more and more jobs can be done from anywhere, and as the pandemic proved more than most people thought, there's the reverse is happening, right? People are starting to flee the cities because the quality of life is either diminished there or very, very expensive. So people are seeing that when they go to more rural areas, they often pay less taxes and their money stretches more. That's good because it stimulates the local economy. Right now, that's not very notable because of lockdown, but soon those communities will thrive because the new people there, they are used to a certain standard of living. They want to go to eat out more. They want to go to fancy restaurants. They want to go shopping, etc. They want good infrastructure. They demand good infrastructure. And so that will result in more money, in their money, actually, their big city money from their big city jobs being plugged into those rural areas, and the areas will grow. More infrastructure will pop up, more businesses will open, the existing businesses will get more clients who spend more, right? So the life of everyone will improve if a city becomes remote worker friendly and part of a remote work hub, right? That's just economics ABC. I don't have a course in economics, but it's pretty clear to see that that's what happened. We've seen that example with Bali, right? We are starting to see that example with Ireland. So definitely, especially inside a country, right? This is something that is primed to happen. And the one thing that we need to do now is really have remote work experts and people that are that can talk the language of remote work to get in touch with the local authorities, the local responsibles, and figure out how to create more appealing communities, how to create more appealing hubs to remote, right? Grow Remote in Ireland is doing a great job of that. I think they're a great they have a great model that people can emulate in other countries. So I would definitely advise people who are interested in this sort of thing to check it out. But for sure, if you're looking to reduce inequality, remote work is one of the most powerful tools that you have, if that is your goal. Not necessarily even only in your own country, but across countries, right? Because the next step is the world. Now, offshoring used to mean cheap people, But now people in other countries are getting a better grasp for their value. So if they are hired by a company that pays their employees in its actual country very well, they start expecting not necessarily the same salary that the country where it's very expensive to live when, requires, but something definitely above the average in their country. And again, this is a tide that rises all boats, right? If suddenly people who work for international countries and international companies in poorer countries start getting more, and if these people start existing in greater and greater quantity, right, the economics around these people will also shift. And I mean, that's a good thing, because that's a clean people-driven way to create more distributed economic wealth across the world, right? The wrong way to do it is to forcefully take money from one place and shove it into the other. That's not organic at all. But just by the power of people being able to choose where they want to live and where they want to work, and not having geographical barriers to impede that, that will mean that wealth will be distributed organically, right? Without really anyone being worse for the wear. So that's really how remote work will help drive inequality down. It will not be only that, for sure, but it's probably going to be one of the best drivers for driving inequality down, because again, it's organic. It happens, it's people driven. It happens because people want it and because people are doing it, not because it is mandated and orchestrated by big players in government and etc. So anyway, that's your coffee with Lewis for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of the audience of Think Remote, and have a good one.